Hello there, comrade. Would you like some vodka? Ah, yes, this is the YSPilots podcast. For the motherland! That was terrible. Anyway, hello and welcome to the 10th YSPilots podcast. I am Skipper. This week's podcast will be a very special one, since we have the first ever sounds heard by me of Soji Yamakawa. It is also special because YSPP has reached double figures. And due to some feedback from users, we've decided to leave out the new members section of the podcast. But I will continue with the new mods, since that is a valuable thing to know. So, new mods this week are Wyvern's Mod Pack, Lucky Bear God's C130 Fat Albert minus the JTO, a new version of YS was released with the addition of Coloured Smoke, something that was thanks to my interview with Soji. And finally, I released an update for the demo pack of the links. Okay, moving on now, with the news. The Easter Air Show was cancelled due to a lack of people. There is also a discussion going on underway about the formation of so many small squads. There is talk of raising the number of people required. At present, the number is 4. It is also possible that the founder needs to have 50 legitimate posts. I am also looking for a couple of members to join my helicopter demo team. I'm also looking for anyone to give us some ideas for our show routine. In other news, voting has closed for the top modding site, and number 1 was Oren Lead, so no surprise there. In second was Other, so I'm unsure which modding site was there. One person did say TMP for that one, so in second place was the Tank Mod Pack. In joint fourth place was Task Force 58 and Control and KZS's pack. And in 5th place was Cleared for Takeoff and SAP, but the rest came in last with no votes at all. I launched this week's favourite military squad with the contestants of the 241st, the 171st, the RPFS and the new 194th. I also left off the NAFC by mistake, so that goes under the name of Other. Apart from that, I think that's all that's happened this week. As always, if I've left something out, PM me. Out. We now have an interview with MH3W, or as you know him as Matt. I'm joined now by the modder most people know as Matt. Hello Matt.
Hello Skipper.
So most people know you as the creator of the MAC pack, and with great maps such as Runway City. Which is your favourite project to do?
It was really fun doing the maps in the MAC pack, and I also had fun making the NWA aircraft for the Northwest Airlines group.
I know you were working on an NYC map. Can you tell us something about the progress on this map?
Yes, the progress on the New York City map is about 25%. I'm working on it in small amounts due to other things I'm doing, like studying and things. Maybe in about 2 weeks I can speed that up a bit.
What buildings have you already got for the map?
Yeah, right now I have a few of the non-famous buildings, but they're not really landmarks.
As for the ground, how much of the ground map have you already produced?
Well, as of ground by itself, I have almost all the 5 excuse me. I have almost all the 5 boroughs complete already. But all I have to do now is the airports for the New York City area, and the rest of the map I'm going to count separately because I'll be doing it in considerably less detail than in the downtown New York City area.
Okay, and how much lag are you thinking it's going to cause when it's finished? Is it going to be a really laggy map or not so much?
Well, I try to make my maps not laggy. Like I really like maps that run smooth, but so far, hopefully it's gonna be a lot smoother than downtown Chicago. Right now, like even without the buildings, it is reducing frame rates. But with the new technique about using elevation grids as buildings, it's really helping it to not be as laggy as other maps are. So hopefully it'll be pretty pretty smooth on everybody's PC.
Okay, and what other mods are you working on now?
Oh, besides the New York map, I'm working on the Soul Plane from the movie Soul Plane. Although I didn't like the movie that much, I thought the plane was pretty cool, so I'm making that. And,
Okay.
Alright, and the other plane I was another project I was working on was a follow-up to the Raceway map. This one would be a lot more of a difficult course, where it requires planes to fly a lot slower and turn more tighter and things.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about your squad involvement now. Are you an active member of any fighter squadrons?
I am a member of the 241st Squadron now. Excuse me, I had to go do something. But
Alright,
yeah, I'm
cool.
right now. Yes, I'm a member of the 241st Squadron. I've been a member for about 8 months or so far. I've already reached elite status since
Okay.
last month or so.
Okay.
And how active are you in the 241st?
I like to think I'm pretty active. I try to log in every Saturday, a little bit during the week, do a little extra training.
And what's your involvement with the Virtual Northwest Airlines?
So with Virtual Northwest, it's a little bit more difficult. There aren't really any Northwest 24/7 servers online, but when I do see a server, I like to fly cities sometimes, so I fly around a Northwest airline, fly from one airport to the next.
Is there anything you want to add to this podcast, such as announcements about any future mods you're making?
Well, actually, not really that much. But I am working on. I have made a few planes, about 4 or 5 for the World Air Forces pack that will be being released soon in a few months, I believe.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. And now, what you've all been waiting for, the first ever sounds of Soji.
Well, this is Soji. Download the YSP podcast now.
We now have the first part of the interview conducted with Soji, and the first part you can hear right now on the YSPilots podcast. Okay, we're talking now to Mr. Soji Yamakawa. For those of you who don't know, Soji is the writer of YSFlight.
Yes.
Hello, Soji.
Yes?
Hello. So when did you first come up with the idea of making the game?
Actually, my motivation of learning programming was because I wanted to build my own game. In fact, I had a very old PC, 8-bit PC, and first PC I got was sort of minor model. So I wanted to buy computer games, but they were not simply available. So I had my own game to enjoy by myself. So that's how it started. So, and I always wanted to build my own flight simulator. That was since I was a junior high school student. So sort of not natural for me to write a flight simulator.
And on your copy of YSFlight installed on your computer at the minute, do you have anyone else's add-on planes? And if so, whose?
Yeah, in these days, well, for my for development, keeping in any add-ons, but for testing, I sort of randomly download some add-ons from the website linked from like YSPilot.com and the Oran Lead collection, and pick some models and make sure the program doesn't crash and fail.
And I know in the last edition of YSFlight you've fixed network play, which was a great improvement to the whole YSFlight community. I know this is probably one of the questions you're most asked, but what are you planning to do on the next release?
Okay. Well, actually, there are a lot of to-do lists. Just one second. I ideas. Okay. For example, of course, I'm keep track of emails I receive from users. And other than that, I'm thinking about improving IFR features because I'm working on IFR. So I'm learning a lot from my training, and I think it's fun if you can fly in under instrument condition like dense fog and low cloud. So actually, if you fly solely relying on the instrument and you find your airplane right in front of the runway, your destination, that's a really good feeling. So that's one thing I'm going to add in the future versions. And and another thing is I'm thinking about making multi-window. So one of the big difference between PC flight simulator and airplane is view. So PC flight simulator, you can see everything in one screen, right? But the instrument panel is really close to you, and outside is really far away from you. So until you get used to it, what you will suffer is the distance of looking. So I can making, if you are using a laptop and one display connected to the laptop, I can show a program so that it shows the instrument panel in laptop window, the outside view in a monitor screen. Then that will sort of mimic the effect of the
Right, okay.
distance of the view.
Okay.
Okay, there are some other things like I want to make the server so that the server can control the start position of the client, and the server let the server call the IFF code, and maybe actually I have a lot of do this. So all of these. So mainly from the feedback from users.
And that was the end of the first section of the interview. Join us next week for the next part. So with that, we reach the end of the podcast. Join us next week, and we'll be playing the next bit of the Sochi interview. In the meantime, safe flying. Out.